What's going on, YouTube? And welcome back here to another day here. It's the Diamond Lion, and today we are visiting the MC Parks. And we're going to be jumping around all the parks, so we're starting off in the Magic Kingdom, but who knows where we're going to end up. Because today we're going to do a little bit of a rambling video. We're going to go throughout the 4 Walt Disney World theme parks and be discussing things we'd like to see change in 2025. It's a new year, there's a lot of excitement, but there's also a lot of disappointment, as we're going to be losing a lot of really pivotal attractions in Walt Disney World history. You know, Jim Henson's Legacy and Muppet Vision 3D is going to be closing. Rock and Roller Coaster is going to be closing for a new Muppets attraction. We're also going to be seeing some interesting closures like Dinosaur, which is an original opening day attraction of Animal Kingdom, maybe in a different form, but very similar attraction at the very least. That's going to be closing. And the Tree of Life's It's Tough to Be a Tough to Be a Lug, Tough to Be a Bug is also going to be closing. So we're going to be losing 2 Walt Disney World favorites. Well, you could argue 3 with Muppet Vision there. And you're talking about 2 opening day attractions at Animal Kingdom closing. So what else could be in store for 2025? And I figured, what better way to start than at Disney's Magic Kingdom? And I've got plenty of ideas, so sit down, relax, grab some of your maybe Christmas leftovers, whatever you have left here in the beginning of the new year. Or maybe you're trying to stay on your diet for the beginning of the year, your New Year's resolution. We're going to be going through basically from Frontierland all the way throughout Magic Kingdom, throughout the parks, and figuring out what we can change and what maybe could be in store for the future. So we're starting off in Adventureland for a reason. You could tell I'm not a Florida resident because I definitely went the wrong way. But we are going to be checking out Adventureland because we're going to go to the Tiki Room. And not because we're closing the Tiki Room. We are going to be adding to the Tiki Room. Now, I know a lot of people are going to have their thoughts about this, because this is going to be one I think a lot of people would like to see not get touched. But if I know anything about Disney and potentially what they could do to this attraction, I would rather see this happen than the alternative of bulldozing the Tiki Room and completely losing the attraction. So here's my thought. What we're going to do is we're going to replace what used to be the under new management. Remember they had the, I forgot what her name is, but the thing in Trader Sam's, the animatronic that used to be in the under new management. We're going to put a Stitch animatronic in the Tiki Room. And you may be saying to yourself, well, the Diamond Lion, they already have that in, I think it's Disneyland, Paris, or Shanghai, one of those, where they have a Stitch animatronic in the middle. And I'm saying we're going to do that here. Listen, guys, Stitch is a huge property for the Disney company. The amount of Stitch merchandise that this company pumps through, it's too much of a layup for Disney. This is an easy one. And if Disney's going to come in and say, listen, Tiki Room, we're not getting lightning lanes for this attraction. We're not getting any sort of thing like that. Well, at least if you can boost the attendance with Stitch in there and add merchandise opportunities, well, maybe Disney can keep this, at least kick the can down the road in terms of fully replacing the Tiki Room. So, yeah, do I love the idea of adding Stitch? Well, to be honest, I kind of like Stitch, so maybe a little bit biased there. But even with that said, I would still rather a Tiki Room with Stitch in the animatronic form in there than losing Tiki Room entirely for something new, right? Because you look at this kind of footprint, if you were to take out the magic carpets of Aladdin and you took out Tiki Room, this is actually a pretty big amount of real estate here. They could do something pretty massive with this area, and I'm going to get to that in a second, because that's my other portion here I want to get to. Because we've got the Jungle Cruise here, which is down because they're probably setting it up for the holiday overlay. But over here, we have the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. So you have the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, the Magic Carpets of Aladdin, and the Tiki Room. This whole little leg here is a pretty big amount of land when you consider all 3 of those attractions if they were to close them, there's a lot you can do with this area and completely renovate Adventureland. So my idea is I would rather see, let's put it this way, I'd rather see the Stitch animatronic there than losing all of this. Now, here is another possibility. I'm still on board with replacing Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. And I'm also on board with replacing the Magic Carpets of Aladdin. Keep the Tiki Room, guys. Keep the Tiki Room. You could replace this and put some kind of attraction there. And then you may be saying to yourself, well, the Diamond Line, what attraction would you put there? And it might not be what you're expecting. Because the easy answer would be, well, you put your Moana ride there. And that's what I'm going to go with. We're going to put the Moana ride in this section. I know a lot of people are not going to love that idea. But we keep the Tiki Room. We get rid of a spinner flat ride. And let's be honest, guys. Listen, Disney's direction today, they do not like the idea of having an attraction like Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. Because Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse is not going to create Lightning Lane purchases. And as much as I hate and cringe when I say that, because that's not what Walt Disney World is all about. But let's be honest, the direction of the company definitely is lending in that direction. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's going to be the selling point. And you take this area, you create a really nice queue over by the Magic Carpets of Aladdin, and then you put the big show building here, kind of tucked away where Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse is. I know a lot of people aren't going to love that idea, but it is an idea. And that also leaves the expansion plot open. So you're going to have a Moana flume ride over here. And this is why I wanted to do this. So you're keeping that flume ride concept. And back here by Pirates of the Caribbean, we're going to have our new tavern this year that's opening here. And that's going to be really exciting. Taking over Tortuga Tavern. I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. We're going to see a bar and lounge there. I'm good with that. Oh, it's just a Christmas present there. I would love to see them put that volcano roller coaster back here. This was a concept from the Michael Eisner era at Disney. And it was projected to go right back here somewhere. There was the idea that Disney has all this expansion plot back here. They could put a massive roller coaster back there. There's enough of a building they could make, and they've got the space to do that. So how great would that be if Disney were to put some kind of attraction like that back there? So now you're talking about adding expansion. You've got the volcano roller coaster concept. We've heard about that forever. You add a roller coaster back here and you tuck it away. You don't want to see the track and things like that in Adventureland, because let's be honest, in Adventureland, does a roller coaster really fit the theme? No. But if you tuck it away in the corner and there's like kind of like Rock and Roller Coaster, you have to go through a lot to get to it. It's not going to take away the theming. You're not going to hear people screaming on a roller coaster back here. I want to prevent that. And that way you've got this whole land here for the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, right? The footprint itself isn't actually that large, and that's why Magic Carpets of Aladdin would have to go as well here. I know Disney loves the idea of creating like lands, and they'd want to make this a Moana land, but they don't have to do that, right? Like the land of kind of that Polynesian theming already kind of exists in Adventureland. They don't really have to go out of their way to make a Moana land here. They don't have to do that. And it would seamlessly blend in if you did it right with the Tiki Room, because there's obviously the apparent Polynesian theming with the Tiki Room. So you could very easily blend this area in to all kind of work and intertwine with each other, and it wouldn't be that much of a transition. And like I said, you consider adding, you're going to have this little area, you're going to have a Moana dark ride, extend the queue out toward here, right? So you have that extra space for the big show building, because you're going to need that whole island there where Swiss Family Robinson is to put a show building. And you might even, that's the thing. You got to really kind of make this area as tight as you can. As much as I love this area here, that might be something that has to go. Or one day I'd love to see them put another like boat ride going through the water here, because this goes all the way to the front of the park toward the hub, this waterway. But I don't think Disney's going to be doing that again. They used to have an attraction like that, but I think there's a reason they don't do it anymore. So that's probably a little bit of a distant thought. Now we're going to be skipping through a little bit of this area. We're going to go back out of Adventureland. That was a pretty good idea. I would love to know what you guys think of that idea, because I think that would be kind of interesting if we saw some kind of new theming concept in Adventureland. Now let's head back over this way toward Liberty Square, because this is one that I really like this idea, but I know there's going to be people that don't. And it's the idea of putting the Muppets in the Hall of Presidents. And I've heard a lot of interesting thoughts about that. The rumors have been pretty rampant that the Muppets are going to be going in this area. It's to the point where it's unignorable. And I think Disney is pretty serious on the idea of getting the Muppets in here. They obviously had this show that was outside, the great moments in history, right? But just the American parts, that whole Muppet show was over here. I could see them doing that back. Bring it back. Bring that back. Bring the Muppets into the great movie ride. Put the Great Muppet Movie Ride where the Hall of Presidents used to be. Do that instead. No, but I think that's actually a pretty good concept. And if you play around with it, what better way to talk about that kind of topic than the Muppets? Because the Muppets are divisive. They don't have, they don't have to be, one political party or the other. Like, they could be very neutral and kind of poke fun at both sides, and I think that would be kind of fun. So, would current Disney necessarily do that, though? That's, again, part of the thing here. We know the Imagineers are capable, but are they going to go all the way with it? So now we're going to go to the next part in Fantasyland, and this one is probably going to be sacrilegious, because this is one that I think a lot of people have a lot of feeling toward. And that is It's a Small World. So my idea, and I've talked about this on the channel before, we're going to close It's a Small World. Close It's a Small World and put a Tangled boat ride, similar to what we saw them just put in Hong Kong Disneyland. Put that type of attraction in here. And we still have It's a Small World out in California. It hurts me to say this, because this is one of Walt Disney's original concepts, and people will freak out. And I love It's a Small World. But honestly, that attraction there, if you put that attraction and do it right, you put it in there, this is going to work. You can make people be okay with it if you know the attraction is going to be egregiously better than what's already there. And it's very easy, because this could kind of be a semi-tangled land. You've got the Tangled bathrooms right here. So you have that already themed to Tangled. You've got the boat ride right here, which is literally just sitting there waiting. And then the Pinocchio's Village House. As much as I like the Pinocchio IP in this park, specifically Magic Kingdom and Fantasyland, turn this thing into the Ugly Duckling. And now you've got 3 Tangled themed, I guess, attractions, like a mini land here in the Magic Kingdom. I think that would be perfect, right? I'm sure some people will not be happy with any of those ideas. They like Pinocchio being here, they like Small World being there, and they like the idea that Tangled is just a bathroom and that's it. But I can dream, right? So that's my ideas for Fantasyland. We're not going to be touching anything else. I'd love to see the day where they put back in where there used to be Snow White's Scary Adventures. I'd love to see them put another attraction in here. It's been a meet and greet area for a long time, but that's where, there has been a dark ride in there. They could very well put a dark ride in there, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I would love to see a Pinocchio, like a Pinocchio's Daring Journey type of attraction in here, or some kind of like an older Disney IP take over this area. I think that would be perfect. But again, current Disney, you don't really know what you're going to get. I know they like to take away attractions. I'd love to see them replace PhilharMagic too, honestly. I'd like to see just maybe even an update to the show. I don't know. I guess I don't have anything really wrong with PhilharMagic, but like if they said it was closing tomorrow, I really wouldn't care. So I don't really know what you could do, Disney, with that, but just an idea. All right, so now we have to go to the last part of the Magic Kingdom today, and that is over in Tomorrowland. So let's warp over to Tron. They obviously just added the Tron attraction, which is a huge hitter here in the Magic Kingdom. And I kind of say that tongue in cheek because I've seen some interesting line wait times that have been like the Lightning Lane's not selling out for Tron and things like that. But I do know people do like this attraction, even though maybe it's a little bit shorter than we'd kind of hope it would be. But it is a great architecture. It's a great area here. But that's not really what we're talking about today, because this area, I would say, is pretty fleshed out. It's more so this part of Tomorrowland. We're not going to the Speedway. The Speedway is going to survive another day. As much as I would love to add another Fantasyland attraction in there, we're not going to do that today. My idea is we are going to blow up some of Tomorrowland. So we're going to, now, because think of it this way. You got to think of the future projects that Disney has right now. So you already have a Toy Story Midway Mania in Hollywood Studios. So Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin probably wouldn't be that big of a loss. So that attraction, that's an open dark ride right there. You have Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. Whatever new Monsters themed show they're putting in Muppet Vision, and that makes me throw up to say it, but it's a reality. They closed down the Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. You know, it's not as popular as it was when it opened. It's kind of just a layover from the Timekeeper. A lot of the theming on the inside is pretty much Monsters Inc. with Timekeeper references kind of still tacked in there. And then the Stitch's Great Escape building. So my idea, as much as I love this like kind of entrance here and area, I would love to see them find a way to, I know Disney won't do this, and this is why this is just my ideas for the year. I would love to see them completely rip out everything here, make this one giant dark ride. So you've got Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor as kind of the queue, and then the dark ride portion behind it where Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin is. Because I think these are, as much as they're offerings in their own right, they're not really great attractions. And like I said, we already have Space Ranger Spin, literally a Toy Story themed spinner shooting arcade game in Hollywood Studios. Monsters Inc. is going to have their entire themed land in Hollywood Studios. So why not give us... Now, this might sound a little bit far-fetched, but give us some kind of Marvel-themed attraction. I know there's the situation with Universal, and they can't use some of the properties, but is there any way they can put some kind of Marvel... Like, I mean, the ideal situation here, you put an Iron Man roller coaster here. That is my take. You put the Iron Man roller coaster in this space. Now, Disney's not going to be able to do that because of the licensing with Universal. I get that. But that is the perfect thing to do with this area, in my opinion. So because that's not happening, we got to think of something else. So could you do something with Big Hero 6? Could you put a Big Hero 6? Now, here's what I'm thinking. If they were to keep the dark ride layout of just Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, make this into Big Hero 6, but kind of keeping the same concept. I think you could very easily do that. And with all the technology today, flying over Fransokyo, you go on the back of your own Baymax. That would be awesome. I would love to see something like that. And that's a lot cheaper than turning this all into one attraction. And then my other idea was you take out Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor and you put an Edna Mode, kind of like a suit gallery, kind of like what they have in the setup with Hollywood Studios at her meet and greet. But you plus it and you make it into an actual show. So you have the show here where you have them trying on different suits. You get to meet Frozone, and he, kind of, has like a puff of smoke that goes out into the crowd for the frost, and he freezes another animatronic, or Jack Jackson, hanging out in the rafters and something goes wrong and he hits a lever or drops a cookie on something and something goes wrong, right? Like, they could do something cool like that with Incredibles, because we've always talked about doing some kind of Incredibles attraction. They could do that right here. That would be perfect, right in the middle of Tomorrowland. So you've got that. You've got your new Big Hero 6 attraction in the dark ride portion here. And mind you, these are all keeping the same structure. You're not blowing up these buildings as much as I'd love to see that. You're keeping these structures here. And then comes the Stitch situation, because they closed down Stitch's Great Escape. Nothing seems to be even in the pipeline for Stitch's Great Escape at this point. I don't really know what they're going to do with this, because the problem with this is there's not really a ton of space here. And the problem is, now that if Disney were to blow out this building, from rumors I've heard, there is asbestos in the building. So if they rip out and gut the building, they are going to have to basically like burn the thing to the ground and start over. And I don't know how keen Disney is on that idea. So it's one of those things where I understand why we haven't seen a new attraction in Stitch's Great Escape, because it doesn't really seem like there's an easy solution here. And that's what makes me think maybe this is the area that gets completely gutted. And I love Star Traders. I love the name of this shop. I could very easily see a day here in the not so distant future where basically everything right up, because you have to remember, this is the same building as Cosmic Rays. You need to rip out Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe and Stitch's Great Escape. The entire building, it's all one building. So you rip out Stitch's Great Escape, you're also going to be ripping out Sunny Eclipse and Cosmic Rays. And that is not a world I'm ready to live in, but it could be a reality. And I don't think it's going to happen in 2025, and it might not happen until 2030. But I think there is a true possibility we see some serious changes in Tomorrowland. A fully redevelopment of Tomorrowland. I could see it. And it could start off with the easy one here, because the real estate where Stitch's Great Escape is, you could literally see the Magic Kingdom's Cinderella Castle right on the outside of the attraction. That is too valuable, too much prime real estate for Disney to just sit and rot there. They need to do something with that area. What they're gonna do probably means bulldozing, and that's tough because you also have the Wedway People Mover here. So now you could have some structural issues with the People Mover if you touch this building now, right? So you could see how this very easily could turn into a disaster in Tomorrowland, all because of the Stitch's Great Escape show building area. So that's going to be it for today's video. I was going to go through all 4 of the parks in today's video. I think we just set ourselves up for a brand new series of what things we would like to see in Walt Disney World in 2025. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with some of my ideas? You know, I also could throw out the idea of a Main Street theater like they had a concept for back in 2020 at the D23 Expo. But I think I've gone on long enough in today's video. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. Let me know some of your concepts. Do you like any of my ideas? Would you have any other ideas? Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again in the next one.